international level. And it's very funny. My office was so small at that time. The 6 guys were sitting sort of 2 rows back, if you understand what I mean. And Michael was in the front row, funny as it is. And as soon as I said this thing about having an international career, Michael put his hand up like a school child, going, "Yes, yes, we're in it."
Yeah.
And that's so there and off we went. And when I look back on it, I actually think I said to someone the other day, I went to New York with $100 in my pocket, had nowhere to live. I must have balls, bigger than the biggest elephant.
Balls
on
of
the planet.
steel.
Because I had, as I said, the blind faith that we went into that whole process with was extraordinary.
So they bought into it straight away. After that little chat, they went, "You know what? We're gonna do this." At any stage, did they sort of, go a little bit off course?
There is an interesting scene, which I'm sure you would have seen last night, where after everybody leaves, Andrew Farris backpedals back into my office with a "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" conversation.
Very melancholy guy, Andrew Farris.
Yes, he's very serious.
The thing about the band is this when I heard this was being mooted, and one of your first remarks that you made in this interview about they did his legacy proud. I'm so glad, because to me Michael Hutchence was the ultimate frontman of any band. I had the good pleasure of meeting him on 2 occasions, and exactly what you thought was what you got. He was a bit of an introvert. I believe in his early days he had a bit of a stutter that he had to overcome as well. But he just owned the fact that he was the main man. And it showed in his performances on stage. I don't think there's ever been a bloke with more charisma. And my first ever album I bought was in 1984. It was The Swing. So it was...
Good album to buy.
Well, Johnson's Aeroplane's my all-time favourite song.
Yeah.
So I've loved INXS for so long. And I'm just so... Last night's show was fantastic. Is there anything that the boys in the band wanted to change before it went to air? Do you know?
Not really, because I think that Tim Farris, the elder brother out of the 3, I brought him on as as my co-executive producer, which is one of the smartest things that I've done, to be honest. The other 4 guys we basically, in a sense, kept out of the mix, because once we knew we were doing television, and once you go into television, you know what you're doing. So it's not a documentary. You don't have, it's got to be television. And if you get INXS is going to do television, we want to smash the ratings, because that's how we think. Everything we do, any game we play, we want to win it.
100%.
That's the sort of way we go. So most of the guys have only just seen it, had just seen it weeks before it went to air. They got to see it in the best environment, because, as I said to someone the other day, they said, you take lots of risk by not exposing this sort of stuff to the band. And I said, well, not really. It's pretty confronting shit. When I first got the scripts, I was like, I didn't sleep for months.
Really?
No, months. The fact that I was in it. Was
I can understand that. My wife, when we said it, she looked at me and she said to me, "My God, I wonder what they're thinking sitting watching this now." I mean, there's some pretty confronting stuff.
Oh yeah, look, when I first got the first edit of episode 1, I stopped it. I was on my computer, walked over and got a bottle of red, and I think I drank about 2 bottles of red with tears streaming down my face.
Wow.
And thank God there was someone else in the house. It's like it's just unraveling your life in front of you, but also it's not just a story about rock band makes good. We're talking about one of the soldiers got lost on the way in a pretty 100%. Big way.
This means a lot to you. You got a tear in your eye now. You can tell.
Well, Chris, can we talk about one of those soldiers?
I love the passion.
We talk about that soldier now and unravel him a little bit, Michael Hutchence. One of the things that really strikes me about Michael is when you have a look at the early INXS film clips, way back when, when they sort of hit the scene. Yeah, well, particularly on the one thing is he looks so shy. He's got that charisma about him, but he's wearing his hair over his face, hiding himself away, and they say to hide the acne scars. At what point did he become such this rock monster, this god of rock?
I think the good thing about it was he developed it. I mean, when I was contemplating whether I was going to write a book or not, I had a journalist called Christy Eliza call me and say, "You've got to do it. It's fine. You've really got to sort of talk about what your life is, and from your dad dying, and all this sort of process that you've gone through in INXS and what you did. But make sure," he said, that you identify what Michael looked like and how he was when you found him, to where he ended up. And I said, well, what's that got to do with me? And he said, well, Chris, obviously you must have given him all the support and comfort around that, to give him that security to be able to develop. And because you never forced INXS to have hit records and they could just develop as a band in the traditional sense. And I think that's really how Michael was. We just, there's three brothers. I'm a I'm a sort of pretty, I'm a family guy. We ran it that way, and as I said, I think everyone had that security, and that's all about it. And Michael never felt we pushed him out there and sort of put him in any danger, and there was always comfort and talking. I spoke to him all the time about things, and I think, as I said, I think it's just sort of a slow development.
Talking about